Welcome back to another RET Paladin video. Verabin here. Today we are going to be going through the RET Paladin one-shot for PvP. So if you've seen RET Paladins do this crazy one-shot, we are going to go through the talents, we're going to go through the rotation, what that looks like, and we're going to go through some examples and some clips so you can do this on your own next time you're in PvP. So stick around, let's take a look. All right, so before we get into the specifics of how to do the one-shot, let's look at the talents really quickly. So the top row of talents don't super matter. Righteous Verdict might give you a little bit more damage over the course of the one-shot, but it's not going to be noticeable. It's not going to be the biggest source of your damage in most cases. So I like to use Zeal. I think Blade of Wrath is probably going to be your pick on the second row. Again, it doesn't really affect the one-shot a whole lot. What you do need to take is Seraphim, because Seraphim is going to increase your haste, your crit chance, your versatility, and your mastery. And that 13% mastery and that 8% versatility is going to go a long way as far as giving you more damage. And then obviously Final Reckoning is the other important part of that. As far as PvP talents go, the only one that's probably going to help you is Vengeance Aura. And this is not a talent that I take in a lot of matchups, but it is likely that you'll get a few of these stacks up during the one-shot window because things are going to happen so fast and people like to start out with CC on your healer and stuff like that. So it is likely that you're going to have at least 2 or 3 stacks of this going into your burst, so that can help. Lawbringer is going to add a little bit of damage, not a huge amount of damage, but it is going to help a little bit. And then, of course, Aura of Reckoning is one that may or may not help. It's going to depend on how much damage and how much crit chance and stuff your opponents have, but it's possible that you're going to get a Aura of Reckoning proc during your burst window. So that's definitely one that you want to take. There's not really a whole lot of other talents that are out here that are really going to improve your ability to burst. Divine Punisher, maybe, but none of the other ones are really going to help your burst. All right, so for the actual burst sequence, you're going to start out with the Judgment, then you're going to go ahead and do a Blade of Wrath because you need 3 Holy Power to do Seraphim. In this case, I went ahead and did a Crusader Strike as well, but you don't really need to do that Crusader Strike. Then you're going to go ahead and pop your Wings, Seraphim, Trinket. Then you're going to do Divine Toll, Final Reckoning. Then you're going to pop a big Templar's Verdict. You're going to do Wake, then another big Templar's Verdict. And then from there, you're basically going to do the normal damage rotation. So at that point, you don't really, your burst window is kind of done, but this was sort of like a 30-second burst window that I put together. And it's unlikely you're going to get 30 seconds of uptime on your target, but that's kind of just like the tail end of it, where you're still kind of doing some damage. You still got your wings up and stuff, and you're still going to be popping some pretty big damage. All right, so for this damage rotation that we just did, that was a 30-second window. That was basically our wings window, and you can see where the damage breakdown is. You can see Judgment was cast. Judgment was cast 1 time. It hit 4 times. You can see that it did so much damage. It did up to 11,000 damage through our Divine Toll, so that is really, really good. And then just the normal hits even were up to 5k, so that does so much damage. Judgment is a huge percentage of your damage. And then if we go to Templar's Verdict, we had a maximum there of 13,900. That is a normal, that's not a crit. That's when you have all the buffs up during your burst window, so that is crazy. And then through Wake of Ashes as well, we had a 23,000 Wake of Ashes, which is absolutely insane. This is on a PvP dummy, keep in mind. So the PvP dummy doesn't have versatility, so they're gonna end up taking a lot less damage than this in PvP. Most people are probably gonna have 30% verse, which means they're gonna have 15% damage reduction. So that's why these numbers seem really, really high, but they're actually gonna be reduced quite a bit. And they're probably also gonna have used a damage reduction cooldown while you're doing this, and if they don't, they're gonna die. So the only other one that I wanted to point out was Final Reckoning. That one did almost 9,000 damage on a normal hit, and that one crits quite a bit. I'm surprised that it didn't crit there. When you're under wings, it's gonna have a really high chance to crit. But when that crits, that gives you a really huge burst of damage into your burst window as well. All right, so in these clips, after reviewing these, I'm actually doing the rotation a little bit wrong in these clips. It's still really, really effective, and what I'm doing wrong is I'm doing FR before I do Divine Toll, so I'm missing out on a little bit of damage on the Final Reckoning, so it's a little bit backwards. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because it still does it still does really, really good damage. But anyway, I just want to point that out. So in these clips here, I'm actually doing the rotation a little bit off from what I'm telling you guys to do. And when I went back and looked at all the clips that I had, I'm actually doing it wrong a lot of the time. So it's good that I went back and looked at these clips. So anyway, one thing I wanted to point out was whenever you are doing this burst rotation, it's obviously important for you to have your PvP trinket available or your human racial available, depending on the comp you're playing against. And that way you'll be able to get out of the CC that your opponents are definitely going to try to put you into when they see you pop wings and things like that. So that's going to be really, really, really important. The other good thing that you should be trying to do is syncing up your friendly targets, any damage increasing abilities that they have, just something like Dark Archangel or Sky Fury Totem from your from a shaman. So those kind of things are going to help your burst window, obviously. One other thing to think about is that if you are human and you can run the insignia trinket plus the badge trinket, it is a huge DPS increase. It's just a monster increase to your strength, and it's going to be flat haste, and it's just going to be a really big increase, but it's a pretty big risk because you won't have your PvP trinket. So it's just one thing to keep in mind. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to hodge that like button and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys out there. Take it easy. Yeah.